Baby really hurt me, crying in the taxi. He don't want to know me. Says he made the big mistake of dancing in my storm. Says it was poison. So I guess I'll go home, into the arms of the girl that I love. The only love I haven't screwed up. She's so hard to please, but she's a forest fire. I do my best to meet her demands, play at romance. We slow dance in the living room, but all that a stranger would see is one girl swaying alone, stroking her cheek. Be careful what you wish for, or I guess even who you wish for, and also at the same time be careful with who wishes for you. We have been exploring certain topics and characters and celebrities this month of love and what can happen. What those watching in real time can see unfold. Who is watching? Us. Watching life, people, each other, ourselves. Sometimes Hollywood, and especially us watching Bollywood Through American Eyes. And Lee's here together now, we are, with your girl, Amy. American Eyes and all. So, yes, love this month. Love and it seems several specific cautionary tales for all involved or potentially involved parties. They say, you're a little much for me. You're a liability. You're a little much for me. So they pull back, make other plans. I understand. I'm a liability. Get you wild, make you leave. I'm a little much for everyone. Oftentimes, the traits that initially feel magnetic can later become the same traits that feel exhausting, threatening, or disappointing once the relationship becomes serious. In many cases, what attracts people at the start is confidence, charisma, ambition, independence, or intensity. What later creates friction is the harder side of those same qualities, especially when daily life expectations and commitment expose the trade-offs. Why? Early attraction is often built on contrast and idealization. A person may be drawn to someone's boldness, mystery, or success because those qualities feel exciting and signal strength or chemistry. After commitment, though, the relationship shifts from novelty to negotiation. And the same traits can start to feel like self-centeredness, emotional distance, control, or instability. People do not usually change into the opposite of what attracted them so much as they discover the full version of the trait they first admired. As we talked about, for example, Ben Affleck, Grumpy Ben, the meme. Ben Affleck and J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, were often described as being drawn to each other's celebrity power, charisma, and intensity. Later, that same intensity can become pressure, conflict, or a sense that both people want things their own way. The renewed relationship also gets framed publicly as two strong personalities trying to make something work under heavy attention. Like, Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell were attracted in part by humor, bluntness, and a playful kind of opposites attract energy. Those same traits can also create frustration later if one person's openness or irreverence starts to feel like immaturity, unpredictability, or too much emotional exposure. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were linked by a sense of deep recognition, ambition, and the feeling that they were meant to be together. But traits like intensity, strong self-definition, and a constant search for growth can later clash when a partner wants more stability, clarity, or traditional commitment. Ayesha Curry and Steph Curry were drawn to each other by warmth, humor, non-threatening kind of charm. Over time, though, the same public success, discipline, and identity that made someone attractive can also create pressure, imbalance, or resentment if one partner feels overshadowed or boxed into a role. Attraction often comes from what feels missing in your own life, while resentment often comes from the cost of living with that same trait every day. Confidence can become stubbornness. Independence can become emotional distance. Ambition can become competition. So, were these relationships, were they doomed by the original attraction in the first place? Is this always the case? What can we do? How can we know? In the end, commitment reveals whether a trait is a strength you can live with or a fault you eventually experience up close. Similarly, in Kabhi Alvida Naa Kehna and Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, the attraction is often the very quality that later creates conflict. Once commitment demands consistency, sacrifice, emotional honesty. Dev and Rhea are drawn into a marriage by qualities that look strong on the surface: ambition, competence, glamour, and a certain modern independence. But in the marriage, those same traits become painful when they stop feeling complementary and start feeling like distance, role conflict, or failure to meet each other's emotional needs. Rhea's career and Dev's identity crisis show how a strength can later be resented when the relationship can't absorb it well. The issue is not the trait itself. It's not bad. It's the commitment. It exposes whether both partners can handle each other's need for recognition, power, and space. Natasha is a good example of how love can slide into control when commitment gets real. What may have seemed like care, seriousness, or protectiveness can later be read as clinginess, surveillance, or pressure, especially when the other partner is not equally ready for the same level of commitment, wanting certainty while he is still emotionally elsewhere. That means the same trait that makes her a committed partner can become the trait that he experiences as restricting or suffocating. People are often drawn to energy, intensity, confidence, or ambition, but once they are committed, they may resent the burden those qualities place on the relationship. The attractive trait often becomes the problem trait after the honeymoon phase ends. People fall for the spark then struggle with the full cost of the spark once the relationship becomes real. I know that it's exciting running through the night, but every perfect summer is eating me alive until you're gone, better on my own. They say you're a little much for me. You're a liability. You're a little much for me. I'm a little much for everyone. They're gonna watch me disappear into the sun. You're all gonna watch me disappear into the sun.